Kiss Army. I'm Claudius Pera.
And I'm Pasquale Veri.
Welcome to our second episode of Let Me Know, a short kiss. And as usual, we will start by recognizing the loyalty of our followers. On to you, Pasc.
Claudio, I got to tell you, I was really happy with the feedback we got from the last episode with Bruce Kulick. And people were able to reach us on our YouTube channel, the Kiss Army Nation podcast page, the Kiss Army Nation Facebook page. So it's fantastic. And I was really expecting one-sided comments, and it was split down the middle.
It is true. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's one by, I hope I'm saying it right, Dakota Etcher 1 from the YouTube channel. Why did Kiss have to represent other members? Why did Kiss have to vocally acknowledge past members? This is a delusion of fans and nothing more. For years, Gene and Paul have repeatedly stated and acknowledged past members. Get over it, people. The night was about Paul and Gene, period. Okay? The next comment was from Ken Mills from the Kiss Army Nation podcast page. Major chunks of it was not. It kind of left me cold. During Unplugged in the original farewell tour, there was more of a human feeling, a feeling of it mattering. The last show was an ad for the avatars and just the same thing they did on the last leg, nothing special. Okay, so here's another one by Sarah Burke from the Kiss Army Nation page. No, he was wrong, and I wish he hadn't joined in on the Kiss sating as he had refrained to in the past. It was a little disappointing. And then she went on to say how Kiss did acknowledge past members throughout their career. It didn't have to be on the last night. And the last one from our YouTube channel, our good friend Elf. I agree with Bruce, but I didn't expect Kiss Tree to be represented at the last show. I wasn't expecting an Eric Carr mention. This is interesting, as they didn't even mention him on the Revenge tour. Why would they mention him here? That's interesting. So I think Bruce wasn't there because Ace and Peter wouldn't be there. And I think people would have been angry if Bruce had been there and not Ace and Peter.
It is really interesting how people look at from different angles. So this is the beauty of doing these shorts, having these discussions. And once again, so we are so excited to jump into this week's topic. And yes, this time it's all about the former spaceman, Mr. Ace Frehley. So it's been quite a while that Ace has been very vocal about his upcoming album and music, and he's taking every single opportunity he has to target Paul and Gene on his statements. So we will just kick it off with the following, and I quote, "With the release of my music, that's how I shut them up." And we're off, Pasc. What do you think about this?
The quote wasn't exactly complete. They're going to look like imbeciles.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
And that's how we're going to shut them up. No, but that's what he said. Now listen. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not a big Ace fan. I bought all of his solo albums. I've enjoyed them relatively. They're okay. I listened to his last single from 10,000 Volts. It was incredible. What a song. And I'm really looking forward to his latest album. And if this album is close to anything like this song, it's going to be an incredible album. A couple of points here. Number one, we like to call the Destroyer effect. Why is it every time Kiss has to release an album, they compare it to Destroyer? Don't do that, because you're creating anticipation at a level that can never be met. And now when Ace is saying, oh, this album is going to be as good as my 78 solo album, sorry, dude, don't say that, because the expectations are going to be too high. But I understand that, right? It's marketing. And when they come up with a new album, a new song, they always feel like it's the best thing they've done. Yeah. So that I understand. What I don't understand is when he hurts his own brand with his hateful rhetoric of, Paul and Gene. And I understand they do the same thing. But right now, it's not about Paul and Gene. It's about Ace. Paul and Gene has reached the end of the road. Ace is still on the road. Isn't that amazing, though? Kiss has reached the end of the road, and Kiss and Ace is still producing new music. He's still touring. I think it's fantastic. What do we have left? Ace Frehley.
Yeah.
Keep the brand alive, but don't tarnish the brand by these hateful comments towards Paul and Gene, because that is just bad marketing. And when he says my album is going to be so good, it will make them look like imbeciles, it's going to shut them up, aren't fans going to be upset by that and basically say, oh yeah, Ace, now prove that? They're going to listen to the album, and no matter what they hear, they're going to go, Ace, sorry, man, you're the imbecile. This doesn't compare to anything Kiss has done. Don't put yourself in that position. And I think that's what Ace has been doing with his latest comments.
Well, I'm thinking, I'm just listening to you, and I can see, the flow of comments that we're going to have, from our followers and people who listen to the podcast. And this is great because, you can look at this from so many different angles. And let me tell you something before I get into the details. I've never seen Ace promoting his upcoming album as much as he's doing now. There's something really, really serious going on with his marketing campaign. He's using different channels. You can see almost on a daily basis or every couple of days, a post on YouTube, on Facebook, on his page, little snippets of videos, of things that he's saying to the fans, and he's creating a lot of hype, and that's good. But let me tell you something. There's many Ace Frehley fans who might not be fans of the band now because of the original lineup, because of the actual lineup, with Tommy, and we know that. And I'm sure that with all these statements, some of the fans, they will stand for him saying, hey, look, he was bashed so many times, coming from Paul and Gene. They were saying so many bad things about him. This is payback, okay? When he's using the word, imbeciles or whatever, this is my music will shut them up. Maybe it's payback time, and of course, I don't think that he's using the right strategy to promote what he's doing now, looking back. And let me grasp on another one of his statements, Pasc, and this is related to what you were saying before. And I quote, he's saying, I'd rather not even talk about those guys since they are retired and their career is winding down while mine is taking off. And that's kind of nice. And, it's this is a little bit more respectful, and this is the truth. So Kiss is now retired. Kiss is promoting avatars, and Kiss is still creating music. Now, let me give you my opinion here. Does he need to do all of this to promote his music? I don't think so. But is it right or wrong? I don't know. I think he was targeted by Paul and Gene so many times when he didn't deserve it, that now he's taking the chance, of saying whatever he wants.
You know that these targeted attacks come from insecurities, right? And Ace was never fired from the band. He left the band. And Paul often said, stay in the band, stay in the band. And it was Ace that decided not to. And Paul and Gene both knew the value that Ace had to the band and the following that he had. And they attacked Ace because they were upset, despite everything that they went through with Ace, that Ace left the band. So it comes from a place of insecurity. I'm not condoning it. I can see where it's coming from. And now the same thing with Ace now. The comments that he's making, it's coming from a place of insecurity. And I want to argue that he has nothing to prove. Now, he is the only outlet for Kiss music, for actual Kiss music from an original member.
Yeah.
Claudia, we're going to see him in March. You know how amazing that's going to be to see a former member of Kiss up on stage after the band Kiss has reached the end of the road? It's going to be incredible. He's going to be playing Kiss songs. We're going to still listen to Kiss songs live by an actual member of the band. To me, it's like seeing a Kiss concert, Ace, he has nothing to prove. And this is just going to hurt the brand if it continues.
But let me tell you, in the same way that Paul and Gene were hurting the brand when they were promoting, the end of the road, and they were asked if Ace and Peter were going to be invited, and sometimes Paul more than Gene, they were taking those opportunities to hurt, and to throw messages to more Ace than Peter, without any need of doing that, right?
No.
So they were doing the same thing.
Of course he was. Of course he was, because Paul knew that the fans wanted Ace there. And Paul is basically telling the fans, we don't need Ace. We're going to do well without him. And yes, again, it's coming from a place of insecurity. Let this album do the talking. I equate this album to BK3. When Bruce had all these collaborators on the album, that was a gem of an album. And if I'm going to compare Ace's album to anything, it won't be a 78 album. It's going to be BK's album.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a blast. So what would you like to ask our fans and our followers?
So, thanks again for listening. And a question that we want to ask the fans is Ace hurting his brand because of the comments he's made online lately?
And, we will be glad to get your feedback on this. This is really, really interesting topic. And please do not forget to like and subscribe. Talk soon, Kids Army.
Take care.